that, it's my pleasure to be here. I thank you for the opportunity. I sit in the back of the room an awful lot, looking at the back of everybody's head. So it's interesting to see the front side of what's on here. This has been a very unique experience for me over the last couple of years. As Ken mentioned, I met Ken in a conference in Orlando in 2007, I think at the tail end, that Mark organized. And I sat in the back of the room, new to the internet marketing aspect of it, although I was doing website development because my background is in public relations and marketing in the tourism industry. So I started to feel that I better learn how to do some development of my own website, and it was just getting new. My wife followed Mark's email addresses, and she was telling me a little bit about this, so we went to our first internet conference. And the internet conference, just like this, is so important to go to because it's not just what you learn up on a screen like this, but it's who you meet and what you have an opportunity to learn from the people that you do meet. I met a fellow, one of the speakers was a man by the name of Willie Crawford, and casually in his presentation he said, I do an internet radio program. And I had just come off of a series of Miami-based radio programs costing $300 an hour. And I was really fascinated by the possibilities that existed for doing internet radio. So I followed up a little bit more, and starting in February of 2008, I did my first program. I call it the Liquid Lounge because I was following water-related activities, scuba diving and promotion of that nature. And so it gave me a platform to talk about that, and I realized that I could do a lot more with this Blog Talk Radio platform than many people thought. Now, you can follow along certainly with what's up on the screen, but if you go to a website, hits.blogtalkradioguy.com. So HITS, I set it up for the Home Inspector Talk Show.blogtalkradioguy.com. On it, I put a couple of the widgets from the Blog Talk Radio platform. There's also two links on there. One is for the PDF of the slide presentation. The other one is for the slide presentation itself. So if you have a bad angle and you can't really see this, you could follow along online, and that'll be there as well. And there'll be a couple other websites and things that I'm going to put out so that you have an opportunity to follow along. But one of the areas that I've started to understand in this communications is that you, as home inspectors, as well as many of the vendors who are here, have a message. And as that message, you talk it out. I like to say now that you can talk your way to the top. That you can take your message and put yourself on the top of Google, because Google finds the technology very interesting. Not only do they find it interesting, they rank it very well because it's fresh content. You've heard from time to time people talk about how important it is to have blogs. A website by itself these days is a static brochure for the most part. Once you add a blog, once you start adding video and audio, it becomes much more dynamic. Now, I've been able to do 700 shows. Various, you can call them shows. You'll see the term episode. That's what Blog Talk Radio refers to it as. And they range in length from 15 minutes of pre-recorded information. I've done 375 segments for a guy who does programming out of the Caribbean. He sends me an MP3 file. I upload it to the Blog Talk Radio system, schedule the show, sign on at a specific time, click the play button, does 12 to 15 minutes, hang up the phone, and it's over. It's resident on the internet. He is ranking in #1 for many terms in the Caribbean area, and he's never done the show because he doesn't understand the technology very well. So you don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to really get deeply involved in this. If you can use a telephone, and all of you can use a telephone, you can do an internet radio show. It's the level that you want to take it to that's really where the question is. I've decided to push a little bit further and try some new things. I've been able to do shows from conventions, seminars, from the Starbucks, as long as you have an internet connection. You can do it by cell phone, Skype, or landline. You have great flexibility, and one of the things I'll show you is something that was introduced October 15th from the company. It's their new social media platform called Cinchcast. And if you went to cinchcast.com, and I know everybody's kind of in and out of this because they sit back there and you listen with one ear and you're somewhere else on the internet. So that's quite all right. But cinchcast.com is another site to take a look at. And what that allows you to do is record an interview. I did an interview with Peter Hopkins last night at the Woodbridge. We went outside, I stood on the deck. With my cell phone, I called the computer in New York. We did a 10-minute interview, hung up the phone, got back to the hotel, and it's converted to an MP3 file. And I was able to not only listen to it, but I've sent it around. And it can be uploaded now to other shows. And during the course of the afternoon, anybody who would like to experiment with this, I'd very much like to show you how and to do some things with you on that. It's essentially an infomercial. It's an opportunity for you to talk about what you do. You don't have to worry about it being 2 minutes and 37 seconds. You don't have to worry about a lot of the elements. People don't have to read it. They just need to listen to it. And you can place the widget from BlogTalk Radio on your own website. It's archived, searchable. There's widgets, RSS feeds, and a number of other things that are there with it as well. This is the show. This is the first page. Maybe we can turn that just a little bit. But this is the first page when you get onto the BlogTalk Radio platform itself. Yeah, that would be great. And like I said, you could follow it along on your own computer if you want. But up across the top is where it has the general information. Over here, where it says sign in, register, and create a talk show, we're going to go through that little sequence, and I'll show you how easy it is, how you can set up a program. It all comes down to you wanting to do it. Now, not everybody in the room is going to embrace the concept, although I think you all should. It is an opportunity for you to talk your sales message out once and have people go and listen to it. If you find yourself repeating the same message to dozens of people, then this is a way of putting it on your website, and they can go and click on water heater repair or any of these other topics, things that I've learned. I didn't even know you guys existed a few years ago, a few months ago even. When I first met Ken, he was introduced as the mayor of Comptonville. And so I thought, okay, well, that's cool, politicians and everything like that. Well, then I realized after a little while, what people were talking about, but I see why that name stuck. But if you were to Google in Comptonville Home Inspector, you'll see not only the BlogTalk. I've been using Comptonville as my keywords. So Googling Comptonville Home Inspector will bring up BlogTalk radio programs, videos that were done. I was able to take pictures from Woodbridge last night, upload them to a platform called Animoto. Animoto creates a slideshow for you. It makes it into a video, and you push that out to Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. And you have an opportunity with the technology of today that didn't exist a couple of years ago. You heard earlier that it's 2005 or so for YouTube. Well, BlogTalk Radio started in 2006 in August. It was an evolution of a concept. The founder, a guy by the name of Alan Levy, was blogging about the decline of the health of his father, mostly for family, to keep them posted. He had a telecommunications background, and with a couple of his friends, realized they could merge the technologies. And so they merged blogging with talking. And obviously, BlogTalk Radio comes on.